Now I know some of you are wondering how your boy Alyx Man is going to do this particular Raw review and future reviews going forward because of my recent apology video to the WWE. Again, I am not going to change how I feel about the product overall. How I feel is how I'm going to feel. All I'm going to do from now on is make my videos less crude, less, filled with cursing, and make it more constructive and more professional. That's all I'm doing. I think we got some misconceptions with me coming out and apologizing for upsetting some people in WWE with my videos. That was just me simply clearing the air with the WWE. Again, my videos are not intending to upset people. They're not intending to anger or aggravate someone. They're just simply my opinions here to interact with fans on YouTube, to get people talking about wrestling, in particular the WWE, and just to put myself out there and have fun talking about a sport or an entertainment that I enjoy so much, which is wrestling. So do not worry, guys. Nothing is going to change when it comes to me doing Raw reviews. As for this Raw in particular, the Raw for June 16th, 2014, I have to say this Raw was better than the previous Raws we've been getting. Was it spectacular? No, but there were things to enjoy about this show. I will say that. I do have some nitpicks here and there, and some problems too. I won't say nitpicks. It's more than just nitpicks. But let's go ahead and get into it. Enough talk. The show opens up with the Authority coming out to once again run down Daniel Bryan. Jeez. Is this the weekly thing now? Are we going to have the run down Daniel Bryan segment until he comes back with the Authority? The entire roster comes out and they announce that there's going to be a Battle Royal to determine a spot in the Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Championship match. And along with that, they banned Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and John Cena from the Battle Royal. But Cena gets another shot against Kane in a stretcher match that will main event the show. And that's what we got in the opening of the show. And I have to say, Cena versus Kane in a stretcher match, as soon as I heard it, I wasn't excited about it for one reason. Stretcher matches usually means you have to incapacitate your opponent until they are unable to get up and be, rolled out on a stretcher or pass the line. Since this is PG, a match like this, in my personal opinion, shouldn't really be, produced all that much. It shouldn't really be put out there because it requires a certain amount of violence. It requires a certain level of violence to really be believable. You know what I'm saying? I don't think matches like this should really exist in PG anymore because it's really hard to get invested into them, because it's really hard to sell the idea that he's actually hurt that much when you can't go past the line of, I don't know, with PG. Yeah, it's hard. So I wasn't really a fan of this match when it was announced, and I'll get into how I felt about the match more when we get to it in the main event. Now, Dolph Ziggler took on Seth Rollins. And my one nitpick, this is a nitpick about this match, is the fact that Seth Rollins was still wearing his Shield gear. I mean, if he's breaking away from Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, shouldn't he be wearing another attire? Why not put on his NXT attire? I mean, he probably still has that just laying around in a closet somewhere. I just say put that on. It's a nitpick, and some of y'all might say it's not that big of a deal, but it does kind of annoy me when wrestlers come out and say, I'm breaking away from you, and then you still wear their gear. Are you really breaking away from them? It felt like Dean Ambrose was breaking away a lot more from the Shield than Seth Rollins was, and he was the one that broke up for him. I'm just saying. Okay, anyways, the match was actually pretty good. I thought it was very entertaining. I thought both of them have extremely good chemistry, and I hope they turn this into a feud down the line. I mean, it kind of is, but I feel like they're just having matches right now. No real reason to be fighting each other. It's just, let's have a match. When they could really put some heat behind these two. it kind of feels like Ziggler is Seth Rollins' punching bag. And that pretty much is a testament to how the WWE views Ziggler, unfortunately, but whatever. The match ends in a DQ. Didn't like that. You know, I felt like if we were going to have this match, just have Rollins beat Ziggler, or have Dean Ambrose come out like he did and cost Seth Rollins the match to allow Ziggler to beat him, and that could be a really good way to get back at Rollins for breaking up the Shield. And I felt like that was perhaps the best way to go, but what we got was what we got. I didn't like it personally. Ambrose attacks Rollins afterwards, and then we have Triple H come up on the Titantron and tell the audience, I got some bad news for ya. And then Wade Barrett, bad news Barrett, comes out to fight him in the match. And yeah, I think they're making Triple H and Stephanie McMahon say his catchphrase from now on, because fans are really starting to get behind bad news Barrett, and instead of turning him face, which is what I want them to do, they're gonna take away the stuff that's making fans cheer him, which is him saying it, because if he says it, they're going to say along with him. So why not have people who the fans don't like say it instead? That's what I think that was all about. I could be wrong, who knows. But again, Ambrose and Barrett was a pretty decent match, but it ends in a DQ. Another DQ finish. I think Rollins comes out and attacks Ambrose, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he interferes and he costs Ambrose the match by countout. Well, that's not a DQ finish, but it's not a clean finish either, so you know what I'm trying to say. Ambrose attacks Barrett afterwards and runs off Rollins, so who knows. I will say this. I think we are starting to see the evolution of Dean Ambrose come a lot more sooner than we thought. He is really getting into this psychotic, chaotic, crazy character that we knew him as when he was Jon Moxley. And with him wearing this, street gear, the street getup, I hope that's his actual gear from now on, or something similar to it. I would like to see him actually go into a more wrestling attire with the trunks and the boots, like how he was in FCW, maybe. Same thing with Seth Rollins. Why have the Shield gear anymore? Just go back to your wrestling gear. But yeah, I like that they're starting to flush out Dean Ambrose a lot more now. And quite honestly, I think he was one of the highlights of this show, because the crowd was hot with Dean Ambrose, and it came across very well on TV. By the way, I also like his rebound jawbreaker lariat. The whole, hit the ropes, flip back, and then hit him with a clothesline. That was made famous by Nigel McGuinness. And I like that he's using that. That is awesome. Throughout the night, we had some antics with Roman Reigns spiking or roofing or putting some substance in the coffees of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. He meets Vicky Guerrero backstage, talks about how she's being misused and mistreated and stuff like that, just to warm his way into her heart and all that kind of jazz. And he spikes the drinks right there after she puts it down. And she gets it to Stephanie. She actually spills the first coffee on herself, so Triple H didn't get to drink his, but Stephanie did drink hers, and she ends up throwing up because of it, and she pukes on Vicky Guerrero, which is very symbolic. But anyways, they leave, and Vicky gets put in charge, and the first thing she does is make Roman Reigns a contestant in the Battle Royal that he was banned from. So I'm going to assume Vicky's getting fired next week, right? Or on SmackDown, because that is like going completely against the authority. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed that. I guess I'm that kind of person, We have the Wyatt family come out and make a strong claim that they are walking out with both the tag team championships, meaning Luke Harper and Eric Rowan will be facing the Usos at Money in the Bank. Why not make that a ladder match? Just go all the way with it. Who knows? But it is for the tag team championships, and Bray Wyatt is going to be in the Money in the Bank World Championship match. And you know what? It would be pretty cool for the Wyatt family to walk away with all the gold after Money in the Bank. It would validate everything Bray Wyatt has been saying in this first year he's been here. Just saying. I mean, by the time SummerSlam rolls around, he would have been here an entire year. Well, actually, I think he debuted in July, right? So if he wins it at Money in the Bank, that means that entire year would have capped off with him winning the championship at the end of it, which would definitely validate everything he's been saying about, him being the eater of worlds and how he's got the whole world in his hands. So yeah, I would definitely like to see Bray Wyatt win that championship. I would also like to see Cesaro win that championship. Paul Heyman cut a promo before this talking about how he speaks in spoilers. He said Brock Lesnar was going to conquer the streak, and he did. He's also saying that Cesaro is going to be world champion. Guess what? He might be champion at Money in the Bank, and I would not be upset about that at all. So, lots and lots of speculation going there. Then we get into Bray Wyatt versus Sheamus. I wasn't a fan of the dynamic of this match. Sheamus's character has gotten so bland and just so uninteresting to me that it's hard for me to really like him despite being a really good wrestler. I will not doubt his wrestling ability. I am a big fan of his brawling style. Unfortunately, I think his character hurts him and hinders him. I'm a bigger fan of the Bray Wyatt character, which is why I was more rooting for him. Unfortunately, this crowd did not feel that way. And I think this crowd was more on the lines of, we're very confused right now. We don't really like Sheamus, but we're split on Bray Wyatt, so we don't know who to cheer for. And that created a very weird dynamic with this match. On top of that, the match wasn't really all that special. They didn't really click. And then it ends in a DQ when the Wyatt family interfere. All these indefinite finishes. Yes, I do count a countout as an indefinite finish. That is not really a victory in my personal opinion. So 3 or more to me is kind of pushing it. And I think that's kind of ridiculous, honestly. How do you guys feel about that? Where does the limit stop with DQ finishes? I understand they're important, but it gets to a point where it's ridiculous. I want to see more definite finishes. People need to start losing. Let people lose. Pinfall, submission. They lose, they lose. And that's what's going to help these wrestlers get more over. How do these guys recover from losses? But like I said, match ends in DQ. The Usos come out to help Sheamus. And I think tomorrow night on Main Event, we're going to get a 6-man tag between these 6 guys. So if you watch it, tell me how it goes. Heath Slater, who is back to being the one-man band, baby, since McIntyre and Mahal got fired, took on Rusev with Lana. And it's funny to me because I think out of his entire career, he got the biggest pop in this match when he talked about, if you don't like the USA, you can leave it, after Lana and Rusev cut their typical anti-American promo and stuff like that, showing Mount Rushmore of all these Russian important people and Russian pioneers, and I think, what's his name, Rusev was on there as well. I don't know. But Heath Slater got the biggest pop of his career, although he lost in under 30 seconds. That was perhaps the biggest, loudest, important pop he ever got, so I hope he enjoys it. Kevin Hart. I'm a big fan of Kevin Hart. Love him. I am going to go see Think Like a Man 2. I've seen the first one, and I really did like it. But I've seen all of Kevin Hart's stand-up comedies. Favorite one so far has to be Laugh at My Pain. I just love it. It's just a lot of fun. It was Adam Rose and Summer Rae versus Fandango and Layla. Pretty much it was a very short match. Summer Rae runs off Layla, and Adam Rose pins Fandango. Kevin Hart was hilarious on commentary. I wish they would have just kept him out there for the entire show. Why not utilize him that way? Why not make him a fixture of Raw? I thought he could have been great on commentary. I would have loved to have seen, or I can't see him, but hear what Kevin Hart would have said about some of these segments. Seriously, I think he would have been great. So I will have to say that is actually a pitfall of this Raw. They had a guest host that I felt could have done really good for the show, and they didn't utilize him to his fullest potential. So I will say that is a pitfall, but I did like the fact that he celebrated with Adam Rose after the match. And finally, I think the crowd is starting to really warm up to Adam Rose and this gimmick. Because I was starting to get worried at first that this was starting to fall flat and not really go anywhere. But I think now audiences are starting to get behind Adam Rose and sing his song, whoa, 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 whoa. And he's a really, really good talent, so I'm happy to see that. Okay, Money in the Bank match to determine, not Money in the Bank match, Battle Royal match to determine a spot in the Money in the Bank. That's what I meant to say. I have to say this was kind of lackluster. And the reason why is the only two viable contenders are, in my personal opinion, of course, Roman Reigns, because he was in the match, Ziggler, and Rusev. Those three were the only ones I felt could have won this and gone on. And yes, I know Bo Dallas was in it too, and I think he was one of the last 4 people in it, which is always good as well. He almost won it. Came really close to winning it, and I like that. Believe. I always like that. It's like that. Believe, I think. But, yeah. At the end, it came down to Roman Reigns and Rusev, which got a huge, huge pop from the audience. You know what? I want to see Rusev in more spots like this. I think he's gotten to the point now where he's a huge heat magnet, and the stuff he does can actually get a reaction from the crowd, and I think it will help create some really good TV. And you would think a gimmick like this, they would feature as strong as possible, because they know it's not going to last very long. Vladimir Kozlov, just saying. Muhammad Hassan, just saying. You know what I'm saying. Okay, but, yeah, Roman Reigns wins that one, and he is going to Money in the Bank to contend for the World Championship. It feels good to see young talents like Roman Reigns win matches like this and get opportunities like this. I feel happy to know that the WWE is still giving the younger guys a shot and not always giving it to the same people, although they kind of are, but not as much. But I do wonder, is it too soon for Roman Reigns to be world champion or to get this push, period? And be honest with me, do you think that with him coming up this soon that it would actually hurt him in the long run because he hasn't developed enough yet to feel like a main event player? Or do you think, hey, you know what, he was going to get here anyway, so why not get him there sooner? You know, tell me down below in the comment section how you feel about that. Oh, and by the way, Damien Sandow came out with a LeBron James jersey, and he was the first one eliminated. That's all I'm going to say. Poor Damien Sandow. Moving on to the Divas match. We have Cameron and Paige. And I was confused with this match. First off, there was a promo segment between these two. But it didn't air on the main show. It aired on the app. Why not just have them do the freaking promo on the main show? Why are we having them do it on the app that not a lot of people look at to begin with? At least I don't think they do. Whatever the case, more people watch the actual TV show than the app. And at this point in time, I believe, since the WWE is fixated on pushing Paige as the best female wrestler on the roster, and I understand that, I think that's great, they need to flush out her character. Who the heck is Paige? What does she do? What about her should the fans gravitate towards and like about her? You know, Paige to me is a great wrestler. I know she's a great wrestler, but these guys don't. And I think at the very least, we could have gotten a glimpse of that if there was a promo segment on the live show with Cameron and Paige, and it also would have told us why this match was happening. You know, I thought that having these girls cut a promo on the app was a bad idea. That's just my personal opinion. But I will say that Paige looked very dominant in this match, and I like that. She beat Cameron with the PTO, the Scorpion Cross Lock. I'm just going to call it the Scorpion Cross Lock. I think that's a much more cool name than PTO, the Paige Tap Out. Who knows? enough of that. Let's get to the absolute best part of this entire show. So, the storyline with Cody Rhodes and Goldust is since Payback, well, way before Payback. For a long time, the Rhodes brothers have been out of luck. They've been losing their matches, and Cody Rhodes came to a breaking point at Payback and said, you know what, Goldust, I'm not good enough. You need a new partner. And for the last few weeks, he's been giving Goldust random, pretty poorly chose partners. And he said, tonight, I'm going to give you a partner that's going to highlight your star power. So, Ryback comes out, and then Goldust comes out, and then we get the debut of Stardust, which is pretty much Cody Rhodes dressed up like him. Cody Rhodes dressed up like Goldust, pretty much. And you know what? I love it. I love it. I love it because it's so freaking bizarre and crazy. Come on, guys. If anybody can play bizarre and crazy, it's Cody Rhodes. I loved his grotesque gimmick, and I think this should really go for a long time. Not for a long time, but for a while. Let this go for at least about a month. And we should see some mental deterioration coming from Cody Rhodes. Because this is very odd. Why is he dressing up as his brother for? Out of flattery? I don't know. It's weird. And that's kind of why I like it. Obviously, this is something to help build towards their match at SummerSlam, or whenever they break up and they actually fight each other. And I want to see where it goes. They beat Ryback tonight, so they're back on a winning streak, and it's got people talking. So, yeah, let's see where it goes. I mean, it's something unique. It's something different. Cody Rhodes will embrace this gimmick, and I think he's going to make it very entertaining. I want to see what he does with it. Seriously, this is going to be great. So, and his new finisher is now the Diamond Dust. It's no longer the Crossroads. I think it might still be that, but for right now, it's Diamond Dust. Or Stardust, who knows? The main event was John Cena and Kane in a stretcher match. And like I said before, stipulation just doesn't fit for PG. And this match wasn't very good. It was pretty boring. And to think that this was going to be Daniel Bryan's match at Money in the Bank, oh my god. So I'm kind of glad Cena got the short end of the stick here. I mean, how long was it? 20 minutes? Rollins and Orton came out, and then Ambrose saved Cena, and Cena beats Kane with an attitude adjustment on the freaking stretcher, and he used that to roll him past into the... No, he didn't go into the ambulance, but roll him past the line, and Cena wins. And John Cena is the final entrant into the Money in the Bank match. And I know some of you are ready to rant your heads off, you know, put a hole through your wall, burn something, get mad at him, and probably burn your John Cena dolls because, Jesus Lord, John Cena got another shot at the World Championship. His 10,500th World Championship shot. Yeah, I'm frustrated by it too. I don't want him to win, but it's very, very likely he will. I will take anybody at this point over Cena. I would rather have Orton win again. I would rather have Sheamus win it. Although I wouldn't prefer it, I would rather have Sheamus than Cena. I personally would like Bray Wyatt or Cesaro to win, but what do I know? Again, a much better show than usual. Nothing spectacular, but there were things to like about it. Tell me down below how you felt about this Raw, and I hope you enjoyed this Raw review. It was a lot more professional, a lot less cursing, and maybe a lot more insightful for you guys. But yeah, I'm getting out of here, guys. I will see you in my next video. This is your boy, the Lex Man, signing off. You guys take care. Peace.